say, oh, when you've got a kid that has just gone crazy and you don't know what to do, that they are not obeying, and that strikes fear in your heart, right? As a beginning teacher, I taught in the inner city of Tampa. So when we say inner city, it would be like, do y'all have gangs? Does that make sense to y'all if I say gangs? Gangs? So it would be like an area where there's a lot of gangs. And I'm from the country. So I go into the city of Tampa for my first teaching job. I didn't know a thing about gangs. I had a little boy named Samuel, and Samuel had a red handkerchief tucked in his back pocket, and he was walking around. And one of the other teachers said, Mrs. Yates, don't let Samuel walk around with that handkerchief. And I said, oh, I know. Handkerchiefs can be so nasty. You blow your nose in them and then stick them in your pocket? I said, I think he should use a tissue and throw it away and then wash his hands. And she looked at me like, you poor pitiful white woman. She said, no, it's a gang symbol. I said, it's a gang? Samuel? My Samuel? I love Samuel so much. They said, his older brother is the leader of that gang. He cannot have that red handkerchief out of his pocket. I said, oh. So, not knowing a thing about gangs, I put on my pretend face, and I went up and I said, Samuel, get that handkerchief out of your back pocket. You know I can't let you go around with that hanging out. Put that, Samuel. Yes, ma'am, Miss Yates. I didn't know a thing. I was faking it till I made it, right? Till I can understand more, I'm faking it. But I want you to think about me having Samuel in 5th grade. How am I going to make my learning relevant to him when he's living with one of the biggest gang members of Tampa, Florida? What am I going to do? So I want you to think, and it's okay if it's hard, because some things are hard, but would you turn and talk about some skill that you teach and how you can tell your students that it's relevant to them? Can you turn and talk for a moment? You need to have a skill that you're teaching, like division, multiplication, something in theology, something in biology. If you're not a teacher of your own class yet, think of a skill that you might one day teach. What are you going to do to tell your students how it is relevant to them? Okay, turn and talk to your neighbor.
So for us, we're looking at the relevance part of it. We break down ideas to a layman's understanding, right? Mm-hmm. Because like where we have started, we have different students, mm-hmm. right? There are those who can capture things very fast.
Yes.
There are those who can capture a lot less, and there are those who are in the middle. Mm-hmm. So you break down issues, concepts on a layman's understanding, right?
Okay. Okay, so we're going to break it down, but still answer the question. Why? What do you teach? Psychology. Why do I need to know this? That's what relevance is. So if a student looks at you and says, But why do I need to know this? And you're saying you didn't do your work, you didn't study, you didn't read, you didn't do this? And they said, why do I need to know this? That's what relevance is. So how are we going to answer that student? That's the tough part. Do you have an idea? Okay, go ahead.
I work with younger students, like primary school, I think.
Are you listening?
Can you hear me? Yeah, so I work with younger students. I'm in Southeastern University, so that is why. But also, apart from that, I work with schools here in Kenya, and I work with younger students, so primary school students. And every time when I'm bringing in a topic, I relate it to, we'll start with say like we're learning something like Earth and space. How can you, what do you want to be in the future? What could you be by learning Earth and space? You could be an astronaut. You could find a way for us to get to Mars. You could, teach us more about stars. You could tell us more about the moon. I mean, like there's so many things you can teach us by learning this. So by the time we are done with this topic, you can teach us.
I love it. Are you Lynette that I was? You are! So if any of you would like to be a student, pick a fish at Southeastern University. I'm the chair of the master's program, and we have 7 master's degrees in the College of Education. They're all online, and we have 4 doctoral programs, and they're all online. And we Zoom with our students around the world, or do a Google Meet. So you talk to me face to face on the computer. So I don't teach in the master's program though, but I'm the boss of the people who do. So let me know if I can ever help you in any way, Lynette. Nice to meet you. And we also have special funding for our students that are international students through a program. Do you use Missio?
Yes.
Awesome, Missio. So if I don't have time to talk to you, ask Dr. Choco or someone for my contact, Dr. Sarah Yates, and we'll contact you. All right, we're going to rush on because of time. So you make the difference. We need to create something that is interesting, something that our students can do. And one of the ways that you can do that is create a hypothetical problem. For example, in psychology, when I was teaching psychology, I would say the student doesn't understand. And I would talk about Vygotsky's zone of proximal development, which I think our friend mentioned this morning, the keynote speaker. I don't understand because my understanding is here. But Vygotsky says there's a zone right here that if I come and I hang out with somebody a little bit smarter than I am, I can learn more. And that's why we use collaborative learning in our classrooms. We should look for opportunities to collaborate and to let our students work together. Collaboration, write it down. Collaboration is a great way to motivate your students and to reel in their interest. How many of you like to talk to your friends? Oh, come on. When I let you work in groups, when I let you collaborate, whether it's in college, my doctoral students, I let them collaborate, work together, because if they're talking about the subject, they're learning about the subject. So collaboration is a wonderful way to motivate our students. So I can create a hypothetical problem. You say, I'm never going to need this, Dr. Yates. I'm never going to need this. You create a problem where your students do need that information. And then they say, oh, I see. If you get a swimming pool, Dr. Yates from America is bringing a swimming pool. And we need to know how much water it's going to take to fill that swimming pool. I don't need to know volume. I don't need to know volume. Well, fine. We don't get to swim in the pool. Because if you can't work that mathematical problem, we're not going to know how much water to put in the swimming pool. So create a hypothetical problem. That's another way to capture the attention of the students and to motivate them to learn. So we're just motivating the students. So do you see the students up and working? This is very common in the American classroom. Even in the American college, to my college professors. We do not stand in front and just lecture. We create a problem and then we say, use your learning, go solve it. And so the students work together in collaborative groups. And I walk around Dr. Kanuva would not like that at all. Okay.
Good morning, my name is Nicole Williams, and today we're going to talk about conflict and how to resolve that in a team.
Hello, my name is Toby Mackey, and today we'll be talking about reading and new ways for you to help your students to do book reports after they have read a book.
Hi everyone, my name is Amy Valencia. I'm an undergrad college student, and I'm going to be talking about the teacher-mentor relationship brought me to learn by one of my professors.
And for Ms. Seraphine, her session will be on shaping character in today's learner and building the Christian character in today's students that you have in your classroom.
Okay, so those who would like to get a skill or two on conflict management, please go to group number 1. Those ones who want to help their students to read and write a book report, please go to straight ahead, that is group number 2. If you need to, the teacher student to know how to mentor students, how to create that relationship, you go to my right. And lastly, if you want to shape character in today's learner, that is real transformation, you go behind the tent, behind the curtain. Let's take a very little, as short a time as possible. Conflict, reading, mentorship, shaping character. Conflict, reading, mentorship, shaping character.
Conflict.
Come on, move quickly. It's supposed to be time. My name is Christine Sherritt. Dr. Sherritt. Hi.
Yes. Gracias. She's talking too. We just share? Yeah. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? I don't think it's working.
It's okay.
Can you hear me? I think it's just my voice. I don't think it's anything else. So.
Like it's for YouTube, this one, so you can just go and about.
Okay, so you can hear me okay. So, how many of you are college students that want to be teachers? Raise your hands. Okay. Higher, so I can see. Be proud. Okay. Okay, good. So, I am a college professor in the United States. I live in Florida, and I don't know why this isn't working. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So today, can you hear me? Okay. Today we're going to be talking about how to be a mentor. Okay? So my name is Dr. Sherritt, and this is, you have to speak really loud.
I'm Elena. I'm a student at Southeastern University.
Okay, so Elena is my student, and I brought her all the way from America, okay? So we're going to talk today about mentoring. How many of you have had somebody that mentored you? Raise your hand if you've had someone that mentored you. Okay, good. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. So this is me and Elena at the airport. Yeah, you're going to have to be real loud. If you want this presentation, you can scan that with your phone and the presentation will come up, okay? So you can scan that. So if you want to scan that with your phone, go right ahead. That's the presentation. Oh, it's also on here. Yes, Asante. Okay, good? Okay. We can do that at the end. Okay, so today we have 3 goals. We want to see mentoring modeled through a professor-student relationship. Raise your hand if you're going to be a teacher. Raise your hand if you're going to be a teacher. Okay, thank you. You're proud to be a teacher. I'm so glad. Good. If you are going to be a teacher, or you already are a teacher, you are a mentor. Say mentor. Ready? Mentor. Okay, good. We want to say, what does the Bible say about mentoring? And we want to design a mentoring plan. Okay? That's what we want to do. Because we want our students, we want to release our students to grow in wisdom, character, confidence, and calling. I want Elena is my student. I want Elena to grow in wisdom. I want her to grow in character. I want her to be more confident. And I want her to know God's call on her life. Teaching is a calling. Teaching is how I worship God. I worship God through my teaching. Right? Okay, and then I'm going to have you talk. You have to yell. Okay. Oh, there you go. Okay. Be real loud.
So now I want you to think of someone who shaped your life. What did that person do? So is there anyone in your life who really invested in you, who poured into you, who shared knowledge with you? Who is that person and how did they do that for you?
So talk to the person next to you, and I want you to tell them about one person that was your mentor. You have 1 minute. Tell the person next to you. Ready? Go. Go, go. Talk, talk, talk. Talk, 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 talk. Go, 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 go. You may have to walk so they can hear. It's so hard. They can't hear anything. It's just the room. There's nothing you can do about it. But you almost have to yell. Okay, you have 30 seconds. And then I'm going to call on somebody. I remember you from yesterday, yeah. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All eyes up here. All eyes up here. Who will tell me one person that's been a mentor to you, but you have to speak really loud? Anybody want to share? All of you people, no one will share? Okay, stand up.
I remember when I was in high school, I think I was 14 or 15 years old, and she was a teacher. She would pray for me, she would advise me, she would talk to me, she would counsel me. She was like, because it was a boarding school, she was like a mother. She walked with me, she mentored me out that time when I was a teenager. Yes.
So a high school teacher. Anybody else want to share? You want to share? No? Anybody? Yes. Okay, stand up.
For me, I'll be close to that person, encourage. Like for example, I do Swahili. How can I go to mentor my Swahili student? I want to know how far do they want to go when it comes to teaching Swahili. If somebody goes to the field of translating, I will help them have tips of translating. Keep encouraging them as they do mistakes, build their capacity, and even connect them to other translators.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, snaps. Let's do snaps. Thank you. Okay, good. Okay, so mentoring, this is me and Elena. And let me see if I can make it bigger. There we go. So, in Kenya, do you have close relationships with your teachers? Yeah? Okay, good. So, I've had Elena for 4 classes. 4 classes. And I saw her in class, right? The first picture, can you point to the first picture there? That is me and Elena and other students, and we did an after-school club where we told the students about Jesus. And Elena was on that team, and I was on the team. The second picture, that is Elena tutoring another student. Then in the third picture, that's my class in Florida, at Southeastern. Over time, I began to see that Elena could be a leader, right? So let's go to the next slide, Elena. Let's read this together. So Elena, maybe you could point to it. Ready? Let's read this. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Let's read it again. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Iron sharpens by making contact, right? You have to make contact. Mentoring requires that I have a relationship with Elena, and she has to trust me, right? And sometimes there's friction. Sometimes it's not perfect. So, Elena, why don't you tell them about the time you asked me, she had an assignment that was due, and she wanted me to give her an extension. So tell them about that. Be real loud.
Okay, so one time I had an assignment, a big assignment that was due in a few days, and I didn't realize that the next week of school we had was a break. So I thought I had more time to get the assignment done because I had to do it in an elementary school, but they had break and we didn't. So I realized I only had like 2 days to do it in the elementary school, and so I was emailing Dr. Sherman and I was like, can I get an extension? I don't think I can get this done in time. And she's like, you can do it. You don't need an extension.
No extension.
And I was like, what? And I actually started to cry and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. And I had a little pity party. But then I picked myself up and I was like, you know what? She's right. I can do it. I can get it done.
Okay.
So then I picked up the pieces. I started working. I got my lesson plan together. The next day I taught it in the classroom. I turned it in and I got an A. I got a good grade. I did a good job. But if she had just let me have the extension, I would be pushing I would do it, but I didn't think I could do it. So you need someone who doesn't always give you the easy way out and say, oh, it's okay. Oh, it's fine. But someone who pushes you to your full potential. Someone who says, I see you can do it and you don't see it, but you can. And that helps you step into that role and push yourself to become stronger.
Yeah. Thank you. So iron sharpens iron, but sometimes there's friction, right? Yeah. Okay, can you do the next slide? So there are some biblical examples of mentoring. We have Moses mentored Joshua, right? Moses mentored Joshua. Moses was the leader, and Joseph became the next leader. Moses had to make sure Joseph was ready. That's mentoring for leadership. Naomi. Raise your hand if you know Naomi in the Bible. Naomi mentored Ruth. They were both uncertain. They were both immigrants. And together, they walked through uncertainty. Paul and Timothy. Paul was an apostle. Timothy was a young leader. Paul had to encourage Timothy. He wrote letters, didn't he, to encourage him. And Jesus had to mentor the disciples. Jesus taught them, he modeled, he corrected, and he sent them out. I want you, we have a big group, so I don't think we're going to stand up, but I want you to think about this. What kind of mentoring do you need the most? Do you need someone to help you be a good leader, like Moses? Do you need a mentor to walk with you through uncertainty, like Naomi? Do you need someone to encourage you, like Paul? Or do you need, we all need Jesus, someone to teach, model, and correct you? Talk to the person next to you. That's a good idea. Show us with your hands. If you think you need Moses, someone like Moses, put one finger up. What do you think?
Moses and Joshua, if you need someone to show you leadership, one finger.
Okay, good. What about Naomi? Put two fingers up. Do you need someone to walk with you 2? Someone? Yeah? What about someone like Paul? 3. Okay, you need everybody. What about someone like Jesus? Oh, I need Jesus. Okay, I want you to tell the person next to you, what kind of mentor do you need and why? I'm going to give you a minute to do that. Do you know what time this ends?
I think it's 11:40. We started at
What time?
I think we started like right at 11, so I think it's going to be 11:40.
What time is it now?
11:14.
Oh, so we have plenty of time.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It doesn't go in her computer because she has an Apple.
Yeah, mine's different.
Pastor Joseph, maybe you can get up and talk about mentoring.
Mentoring.
Do you do any mentoring here at East?
I do a lot.
Okay. I may ask you to say something. Okay. Okay, can someone tell me how many of you have had someone like Moses help you to be a leader? Does anybody want to share? You know, it's a big group. Oh, can you stand up real loud and tell us? Or they won't hear. Yeah, but because it's a big group. Yes.
Good morning, my name is Jennifer. I've had a Moses in my life. I'm a pastor in training, so I've had my senior pastor, who is my Moses, has had to teach me a lot about leadership, and leadership in the church, leadership in the marketplace.
Amen. Yeah. So, all of you are leaders. If you are a teacher, you are a leader. You're a leader. And you will mentor your students to be leaders. Right? So you need to think about, what students do you have? What friends do you have that need to learn how to be leaders? How can you help them? Has anyone had a Naomi that you were walking through uncertainty and they helped you? They mentored you through uncertainty. Does anybody want to share? That one's a little harder, isn't it? I know sometimes my students will come to me and they have uncertainty, right? They can't pay for their tuition. They don't know where they're going to get the money. They have family members that die. And as their mentor, I need to walk with them through that uncertainty, right? I need to help them. Has anybody had someone that encouraged you, like Paul did? Anybody? You guys are very quiet. In America, you know what my students would be doing? Blah, 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 blah. And you guys are very quiet. I'm not used to quiet students. Yeah? Okay, yes, an example right here, Paul.
Yes, I have had a Paul when I was at Timothy, to such an extent that my late spiritual father, he became very close. Because he was the Mzee, but he's the one who was calling me all the time, asking me how things are going all throughout. Of course, that made me to learn. And I think that also made me to feel that mentoring is good.
Amen.
Now, I've also become a mentor.
Yes.
But now the question that maybe, I don't know whether it's relevant, because in a place whereby you put somebody from the state where he is, learning, taking to school, but now, when now they are of age, they are now doing things, then you find them now environment and by where we are. So now they don't prefer that environment. You find them going to other posh places. Well, the idea of us coming to mentor them in the slum was for them to transform the same slum. But now they have been mentored, they are big people. But instead of coming back to give, now they go to other churches, big churches like Sitan and this one. So that is my worry. For me, I have stuck. Of course, some are also sticking, but you find many of them, when they reach a certain place, a certain age, now instead of mentoring their siblings, now they go to places where they do nothing. They are not even required to be mentored.
Amen. Yes. Snaps. Yes. Okay. So, when I was very young, younger than you. Believe it or not, I was younger than you once. I'm old now. You're supposed to say, you don't look old. You guys didn't say that. Okay. So, I had a person in my life that encouraged me. Her name was Donna, and she encouraged me to be a leader. And what she did was, she did the work with me. So I need to do the work with Elena. I don't just send Elena off, I go with Elena, right? I show Elena how to do it. I model how to do the work to Elena, and then Elena can do it by herself. Elena's never presented at a conference. Would you be scared if you were in college and you had to present here? That would be scary, wouldn't it? Yeah. So, I need to go with her first. Show her. Model. But the next time she's going to do it by herself. Right? Okay. Jesus did that. He modeled, he corrected, and then you know what he did? He sent them out. He said, I've trained you, now go. I've trained you, now go. Go into all the world and preach the gospel to all people. Right? Okay. So, we're going to have Elena and I are going to have a little conversation. How many minutes do we have, Elena?
We have like 20 minutes.
Okay. So, the first question is, I have for Elena. Elena, what did it feel like when I began to see that you had potential? Tell us about that.
I think when Dr. Sharon started to kind of pick me out and see my potential, I think it was really encouraging. I think that it really boosted my confidence because a lot of times I think just as human beings we doubt ourselves, we doubt what we can do, and we kind of see the worst parts instead of the best parts. But Dr. Sharon, as my mentor, helped me to pick up the best parts of what I was doing and showing me, this is where you're really strong. And then she also showed me, well, this is where you're a little weaker, and she showed me how to improve those weak spots. She helped me strengthen where I was weak, but also strengthen where I was strong. And it helped me to be more confident in who I am as a teacher, but also as a student, and it made me feel capable and strong enough to continue and move forward in my education.
Okay, so Elena, the next question is, what kind of guidance helped you to grow the best?
I think in the College of Education, we talk a lot about the water, like I do, we do, you do. And I think Dr. Shears does that really, really well, where she shows us, she models what she expects of us, and then she kind of does that step where we do it together. And then she has us do it on our own. So when I transferred into Southeastern, and one of the first classes I had was with Dr. Sheritz. And one of our first assignments, she was like, write a lesson plan, and I didn't know how to write a lesson plan. plan yet, and everyone else did. So I went to Dr. Sherris and I was like, I don't know how to write a lesson plan. No one taught me how to write a lesson plan. Like, what am I going to do? And she gave me an example of a good lesson plan. So she already written one, and she showed me why this is good. She gave me ideas of how I could write it, and then we kind of wrote one together. And then I was able to go and do my assignments, and since then I've gotten all good grades on my lesson plans. And it's because Dr. Sherris took the time to say, okay, this is what it looks like when it's good, and this is how we're going to do it.
Okay, so being a mentor is, I feel like I need to be a mentor to all my students, right? Okay, so the last thing, Elena, is how does it feel being trusted with responsibility? Like if I feel like you're responsible, what does that feel like?
I think at first it's a little scary because, like I said before, usually we doubt ourselves. We're like, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I'm capable. So I think it's a little scary, but when you have that person who looks at you and says, you can do it, you've got this, and pushes you into that role and gives you that courage, I think it's really empowering, and it gives you the strength to do that for other people and pass it on. So like she showed the pictures earlier, then I was able to go and tutor other students and see those strengths in them, but also see those weaknesses and be like, okay, this is how we're going to strengthen this, but this is how we're going to also you did this amazing. You're so good at this, but let's work on this too. And being able to be encouraging, but also teaching and calling them higher to reach their full potential.
Okay, let's do. Okay, so now Elena's going to ask me some questions, okay? Can you guys hear me back there? You good? Okay.
Okay, Dr. Sherris, what made you decide to invest in me beyond the classroom?
So I remember Elena would always volunteer for things. Elena would volunteer to teach kids club, she volunteered to tutoring, and she always was very happy and had a good attitude. And that made me notice Elena to say this is someone that maybe needs mentoring, right?
Okay, how do you balance encouragement and correction?
So we talked yesterday that Jesus said we need truth and grace. So when you mentor a student, you need to tell them the truth in grace, right? And so the students that you work with, they don't always do everything right, do they? At Southeastern, where I work at, sometimes the girls do not dress appropriately. And I have to call them in my office and say, you can't dress like that, right? I have to correct them. That's a part of mentoring. I have to say, if you want to be a professional, you have to look like a professional. And that's not professional, right? So that's correcting, right? But I also have to encourage them, right? So you have to do both.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys do it here, but the young people in the U.S., when someone says something that's true, but it shocks someone, they'll go clock it.
Do you do clock it in Kenya?
You say Dr. Sherris is the clock it.
You don't do clock it in Kenya? That's a big... You do clock it here? Clock it? Okay. Clock it. Okay. Okay, so...
Okay, how does your faith shape the way you mentor?
My faith has shaped the way I mentor because Jesus calls us to make what? Disciples. And a disciple is a mentor. We are mentors, and we are to make disciples. Jesus said, go into all the world and make disciples. He's called us to mentor others. So, I love my job. I'm a teacher because I can look on social media. I've been teaching for 37 years. I know it's a long time, right?
Yes.
I can see All of my students are friends on social media. They graduate. Now they're teachers. Now they're making an impact on God's kingdom. And it multiplies and multiplies and multiplies. So when you mentor, then they go out and they make disciples. Amen? Yeah. Okay. Now, what have I learned? I'm the professor, but I learned from my students. I've learned from Elena how to be humble. Elena's very calm. I am not calm. I am not calm. I am do this, 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 this. Elena's very calm with students. I have learned to be calm. Well, I haven't really learned it, but I want to be calm like Elena is. Okay, Elena, what's something that you've learned?
I think from Dr. Sherrod, something that I've learned is that she is such a perseverer. She shared a little bit about her background with her students and just where she's came from, and seeing how she overcomes every obstacle the world throws at her. That she didn't grow up in a Christian home, and yet here she is, such a light and a beacon on our campus. Like all the education students are like, we want to have faith like Dr. Sherrod. We want to be a teacher like Dr. Sherrod. And it's been such a blessing to do tutoring with her and see how she teaches young people and be in college and seeing how she teaches young adults, and then coming here and seeing how she even ministers to you guys who are out of college, some of you, and like teachers. And she's just so good at overcoming every obstacle and being an influence to the people around her, and being so strong.
So when you mentor someone, you learn from each other, right? It's just not one way. Okay, Elena, I think we have like 5 minutes, so. Okay, so this is what we call the mentoring cycle, okay? The first thing you do when you try to mentor someone is you notice them. We talked about that yesterday in a session. Jesus noticed people, didn't he? Jesus noticed the Samaritan woman. Jesus noticed people. He saw them. Right? That's step 1. Step 2, we're going to invite them. I noticed Elena, and then I invited her. I said, Elena, do you want to go to Kenya with me? And she said, are you crazy? No, she didn't say that. Kenya? I said, come on, Elena, let's go. I invited her. Then, I don't want Elena to be on her own. I have to guide her, right? So that means she worked on her presentation, and I gave her feedback, right? Yeah. Then empower. That means I'm doing this session with Elena this time, but the next section, she's doing it by herself. So if you go to her session, you'll be nice to her, right? Okay, good. Then we're going to reflect. We're going to help students become ready to do the work themselves. I think you can go to skip 2. Okay, no, 1, go back 1 more, please. Okay, so I want you to think of someone in your life. Maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a student that you want to mentor. What do you notice about them? Can you invite them to partake in something? How can you guide them? What responsibility can you give them? And then I want you to think about the reflection part. So I want you to talk with the person next to you about one person that you can mentor. Ready? Go. I think that, okay. Do you know people to mentor? Do you know people to mentor? Do you have siblings? Do you have brothers, sisters? Do you mentor them? Do you have little brothers and sisters? No? Big ones? Do they mentor you? Good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Thank you for helping.
We should give the book to the lady that stood up first. For Sharon.
Yeah.
Because I feel like everyone else was nervous.
Okay, that's fine. You can do that.
I think it's going to be too much trying to
Oh, yeah. Okay, ready? Do you have someone, a mentor in your life? Do you know somebody? Okay, good. Okay, so go ahead and... So, here's what mentoring is. Mentoring is noticing someone's strengths. Oh, what do you need? What?
Sorry. Give me a minute.
Okay. Mentoring is building relationships. Mentoring is growing in wisdom. Creating opportunities for growth. Helping students grow in confidence. And releasing them. Okay, we're going to have to quit, so I'm going to move on. Go ahead to the next one. Okay, guys, time to close. I want you to think about one person you can mentor. This month, I want you to mentor someone with one connection. Can anybody think of one person you can mentor? Okay, good. Okay, we have a book. Elena? Go ahead.
Okay, we have a book called The Dot, and it's all about a student who wasn't confident in their art skills, but their art teacher encouraged them, and they started to love art. They made all these paintings, so we're going to give this book to someone for sharing.
Okay, I don't have enough bookmarks, but I will give some of them out, and I think we're going back over here. So thank you. I don't have enough, but I didn't know how many people. I'd only made 50.
Thank you very much.
You can give some out. I think we go back over there. Oh. You can pass them down. I don't have enough, I'm sorry. There you go. There you go. You can pass it down. So I think we go over here. We all need to go over here. Where are you next?
I'm here again.
Okay.
That was all the bookmarks.
Yep, that's it.
Oh, so sad.
I made 50. So Elena, what's your next one?
My next one is a favorite.
That is so nice.
Oh, thank you.
Your mentor is very good. I also need to mentor somebody.
Yes.
So that when I teach, I can be referring.
Yeah, she's such a blessing. She's helped me grow so much.
Oh, she's a blessing. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
So if you want, you can go ahead and give your next one. What's your next one?
My next one is a faith and agreement. Oh my goodness, thank you. Yeah, we were going to do like a ticket or something. I was like, we need to give it to her. She was the first one.
She's doing very much.
Yeah. And I was like, she needs.
I'm super excited. Thank you. I'll do it.
was stuck inside that grave a long time. Didn't think I'd make it through those long nights, but you never late, you always on time. Remember when you got me out there, you got me out there. And now I see your blessings every day. Thankful that your kingdom's on the way. Angels all around me, yeah, them
I want to kill my own microphone.
Your screen.
I got mirroring on. Yes, I don't see anyone who can help me. They seem to disappear.
Saying no signal.
They are coming to assist you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Don't stress yourself so much. They are coming.
Thank you. Sorry about that. So what's tricky on that one is it says that we're on the same page of formative and not. I'm just going to pull out my notes. When it comes up, we'll use it. When not, I'll just speak to it. Okay. Gotta love technology. If you don't have it, just know it's okay, because half the time we struggle with it. All right. Let me get to my slide. All right, our first one. Effective formative assessments can look a lot of ways. Here are 6 things that I work with my teachers on. We sit together 1 hour every week in planning, and we talk about how we're going to formatively assess our students. So, the first one, which we can't see, says aligned to your learning goals. Whatever your goal is for that day is what you're going to write your formative assessment around. I'm not going to just say, and I see this all the time when I walk into classrooms. The teachers will say, now turn and talk to your neighbor. That's not enough. A formative assessment will say, turn and explain to your neighbor if that is a formative assessment and why. You have to give vocabulary that's aligned to your learning goal for the day with your formative assessment. The next piece, it has to be quick and it has to be actionable. I tried to demonstrate that with the whiteboard. The kids have a quick way to show me if they know it, depending on what they pull up. As a teacher, I have to plan for, oh no one got that. Let me back up and reteach. And that's where at my school we were really falling short. We were teaching way too much content, giving the assessment at the end of 2 weeks and realizing, oh wow, I got to start all the way over because there were so many pieces that were missing. So a formative is going to be fast. It's going to be used during learning. Okay, that exit ticket, that first one that I showed you, was a little tricky because it said an exit ticket. Some of our lessons, especially depending on what grade level you're teaching, they may take 2 to 3 days to teach. So you might give your formative as an exit ticket because you're going to change what you do tomorrow to make sure that they are understanding. It comes up. I'll keep going. Now, when you design a formative assessment, it has to reveal student thinking. You don't want yes/no answers for these. You want to create them in a way where they have to respond on a whiteboard, they have to stop and jot and write something. You need evidence. Sometimes we do thumbs up, thumbs down. Sometimes that's appropriate. But if it's quality formative assessment, you're going to have a piece of evidence that you can use to determine individually who got it and who didn't. My whole purpose in any of these formative assessments is for me. It's used for me to adjust what I am doing, not to give students a grade, not to say they got, yes or no. It is for me to change how I taught it or what I need to do. If only a few kids didn't do well, then I know that's a small group that I pull. If my whole class didn't do well on the formative, it's me. I need to reteach it. I was not clear. The clarity wasn't there. And the last one of the 6 pieces that we look at in my school, it's focused on feedback. Whatever I give, I have to give feedback to the student. The first example, there's a reason I put that up there for exit tickets for tomorrow. That's great discussion. If that would have been a multiple choice and you had to just mark true or false, a lot of people would have missed it, and I would have never given feedback why that is a formative assessment. It just depends on your content, your grade level, and the benchmark. How long is it going to take to teach that particular benchmark? So, in modeling formative assessment, take a minute, Out of those 6 I just talked about, which formative assessment element feels the strongest in your classroom? Curriculum, it will say the goal of this lesson the student will be able to do. That's where you start when you're writing quality formative assessments. So once you know your benchmark, you know the focus of what you're wanting to teach, then you're ready to plan for formative assessment. So here's how we do it. Again, we meet once a week, we sit down for an hour, and we're very deliberate. To figure out how to write a formative assessment, you need to start with the nouns and the verbs that are in your benchmark, in your learning goal for the day, in your target. The nouns will tell you what the students need to know. That's going to be your content. The verbs will show you what they need to do with that content. If I have them explaining how to draw a line segment, I'm not going to have them draw it. We have to pay attention to our verbs because we're in the States. That's how the students are tested. They're tested on the verbs. Analyze. If they have to analyze, I got to give them a lot of data and have them come up with an answer. If they have to describe it, I have to give them key vocabulary. We have to know our verb in order to create quality assessments. So I wanted to show you a sample. This is a 3rd grade learning benchmark that we have in Florida. So my benchmark says, describe and draw points, lines, line segments, rays, angles, right? Acute and obtuse. It's a lot of information. And perpendicular and parallel lines. It says that they are going to identify. We'll do this one more time. We're going to identify these in 2-dimensional figures. So here's what my teachers have to do. We do it together. We circle our verbs. That way, when I'm in the classroom doing my observations, I know exactly what the students should be doing. When I'm walking around and looking at the student's task or activity for the day, I need to see them describing and drawing. What are my nouns? We underline our nouns. That lets me know if they're drawing a picture of Spider-Man, they're not on task. They're drawing, they're describing, but I need to see points, lines, and line segments. And we are very our teacher observations are very meticulous on this. If I see students not doing what the benchmark says, I am to mark that, not mark them down, but I do have to go back and give follow-up about why that is not appropriate. I work in a public school. What I teach is mandated by the state. I'm not in private, so they have full authority over what I'm teaching, and they want to be sure that we are teaching exactly what the state has required. Now this one has several nouns, but it also, if you look carefully, there's another verb. The other verb is they're going to have to identify. So I should see some type of worksheet. It could be matching. I could hold up a picture of a perpendicular lines. They would need to be able to identify, hold up perpendicular and parallel, have them point to which is which. The verb has to match in your formative assessment. Very important. So now that you know your nouns, what the content is, you know your verbs, what the student should do, it's all lined out, and we have our teachers hang this up every day. They have chart paper, and they're required to have this displayed in the classroom. Now that I know this, and that's what I'm seeing, we sit down and we decide, okay, kids get tired. We need routine. They need to know formatives are coming, but they get tired of the exact same style every single day. So if you Google formative assessments, there are so many effective ones that we can pull to use. I wanted to show you these 6 that we use a lot at my school. I tried to use the stop and jot with you. That's where after you've given some information, like we did, we talked about 6 components of effective formative assessment. I had you write about what you felt confident in. Whiteboard showdown. I tried to demonstrate that for you. If you don't have whiteboards, you can use a notebook. They can flash up a notebook. It doesn't have to be the cute little board. The kids love them though. They love writing with markers. Sometimes if you just change the medium of what they're writing with, you'll get so much better response. Let them use crayons in a notebook. Open-ended questions. This is where it's important to know your verb. Does your verb say explain? Does your verb say analyze? What does the verb say? We do not want to give yes/no questions when we're creating formative assessments. Yes, what? What do you know about it? Explain it. Tell me what you know about it. Think, pair, share. That again, I see that a lot. And when I come walking in a classroom, turn and talk to your partner. Teachers will try to convince me that they're doing it sometimes, but they're not. And I can tell by the vocabulary that I'm hearing and by what the student is explaining. Because what we have planned for is around our benchmark with that particular vocabulary. The other is turn and talk. I think I see that a lot. I'm sure we've done it a lot at this conference this week. You have to be specific on what your students are turning and talking about. It needs to match your nouns. It needs to match your verbs. That's what students are turning in. You don't say turn in and tell them what I just said. No. Explain to your partner what a line segment is. Explain to your partner what perpendicular lines look like. And the other one is a quick write. So depending on your formative, if it's just a quick explanation, a line, segment, array, whatever, they could do a quick write. If you're wanting a lot of content because they have to explain it, a post-it note is not going to work. We think very carefully about how we're going to evidence learning. All of these evidence the child's learning and the child's thinking. So, here's the most important part. Here's where my school, we still struggle with this. The data piece. The data piece, and this is my last part. You have to track the data. You can do it through checklist, put all the students' name down one side, check off who got it, who didn't, write a little note about maybe what their confusion was, what they didn't understand, like our exit tickets. That was not right or wrong, but that was a little bit of clarity that needed to happen. And I'm so sorry. We are done. hopefully that helped a little bit. She's asking me to come to up front. That's why I'm like, I guess I better go. I'm coming. I think I'm gonna figure out why this is not working. Why is it keep cutting out, you think? Guys, one other thing for formative assessments, these stickers I do all the time. I pass out the stickers and I ask them, how did you feel about what you learned today? And they have to put an emotion with these fun stickers, and then they have to write about it. They have to tell me, oh, I felt awful. I didn't understand any of that. Oh my goodness, I was so excited. These are just, like I said, if we do the same thing every day, they're bored. Little emoji stickers are a fun way to have kids explain how they felt about the learning that day. All right, I better get up front. She's calling me. Thank you all. I appreciate your attentiveness. Wait, those of you that shared out, you and you, please come select something from my table. I have some books. I have some journals. I have some stickers. You are free to take it, and you as well. Yes, whichever one you want. Those are just some little journals I brought. Am I missing anyone? I had a lot more opportunities to share out, but I just didn't, because of my time, I didn't get to do it. Which one? You can choose a book. These are just some pens and markers, or a journal.
We pick N, isn't it?
If we are not communicating well, that is not going to be a kind way for us to teach. When we are helping our students to learn, they're going to be confident and they will love learning. So again, there are three main ones. The three are visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. The kinesthetic learners, that's using their hands. Now, today what we are going to work on is we are going to learn a little bit more about these. So the visual learner, they have to see it to learn it. See it to learn it. They have to use diagrams, charts. They want to underline things. If they have a piece of paper and they're taking notes, they're underlining it. They're maybe marking it, making sure it's nice and dark. They are making sure that it stands out to them. They're very, very visual. With our auditory, they have to hear it to learn it. How many of you love Dr. Yates? I love Dr. Yates. And you know what? She is a great teacher for our auditory learners because she makes sure you hear it, doesn't she? You can hear it and you will learn it. So with a student that is an auditory student, they like to read out loud. They like to read out loud, and when they hear it as they're reading it, they're learning it. And that is a great way for them to learn. They like things like spelling. They like to spell words. That's usually a very strong area for those students. They like to talk. Do you have students that like to talk? Yes, they are auditory learners. They're talking a lot. So those are the students that you have in your class. And then the last student type of learner is our kinesthetic learner. They have to feel it and touch it to learn it. Now, do you have students that are, I call it fidgety. They can't sit still. They're in their seat, but they can't really sit still. They're always moving. They're always looking around. Do you have any students like that? What do you call that kind of student? When they can't sit still. They move a lot. Do you have a word for that in your schools? What do you call that kind of student? Hyper! You're a hyper student! That's this student, isn't it? Yes, that's your hyper student is your kinesthetic student, right? So we call this the VAK. That's the visual, auditory, kinesthetic design. And that's what we're going to be, that's what we're talking about today. So we'll be building on this. There are many different types of learners. We are only learning 3 today, but there are many more. There is logical or math learners. Do you have students that are very good in math? We do. We have good math learners. Social, interpersonal students. Do you have some students that are very friendly? They make friends very quickly. Those are your social learners. There are also some that are solitary learners. They like to be alone. Sometimes you'll see them and they'll be all alone. They do great at school. They're very smart learners, but they like to be alone and work alone. They're solitary learners. So there are many different kinds of learners, but we're only learning the main 3 today. So again, you need to realize we all have many kinds of ways that we learn, but we're only learning the main 3. We have one that we are strong in. So we are going to talk today about learning what you are. So this is going to be hard because it's kind of loud in here today, but we're going to do our best, aren't we? Oh, listen. So today, what we are going to do, if you have a pen and a piece of paper, I need you to number it 1 through 14. 1 to 14. If you don't have a piece of paper, it's okay.
So, the letters we are using are A, V, and K. A for auditory, V for visual, K for kinesthetic. So I am going to read these out, and whichever one describes you, then you're going to write that letter down. So, number 1, if I have learned something, I learn best. How do you learn best? Do you learn best when you hear someone? That would be A. I'm going to try to make, I can't make it bigger. Is that bigger? Oh, it's a little bit bigger. Okay. Do you learn better when you watch someone do it? That would be V. Do you learn better when you try to do it yourself? That would be K. That's number 1. Number 2, when I read, I often find that A, I read out loud or hear the words inside my head. That's A. V, I visualize when I read it. Or K, I fidget or move around and try to feel the content. 3, oh, that's a K. So 3, when asked to give directions, I A, have no difficulty in giving them verbally. V, see the actual places in my mind, and I say them or prefer to draw them out. K, have to point or move my body as I give them. Number 4, if I am unsure how to spell a word, I A, spell it out loud in order to determine if it sounds right. V, write it in order to determine if it looks right. Or K, I write it in order to determine if it is right. Oh, what happened to 5? Well, we don't have a number 5. Okay, so we're skipping 5. Number 6. Number 6, whoa. Number 6, if I had to remember a list of items, I would remember it best if I A, said them over and over, V, wrote them down, or K, move around and use my fingers to name each one. 7, I prefer teachers who A, talk a lot with expression, V, use the board or an overhead projector, or K, use hands-on activities. 8, when trying to concentrate, I have a difficult time when A, there is a lot of noise in the room, B, there's a lot of clutter or movement, or K, I have to sit still for a long time. 9, when solving a problem, I A, talk to myself, B, write or draw diagrams, or K, use my entire body and move objects to help me think. 10, when given written instructions on how to build something, I A, read them out loud, B, read them silently and visualize them, K, write to put the parts together. 11, to keep occupied while waiting, I A, talk or listen to others, B, look around, stare and read, or K, walk around and manipulate things. And 12, if I had to verbally describe something to another person, I would A, go into great description, B, be brief because I do not like to talk at length, or K, gesture or move around while talking. And then we're on our last one. So number 13 is, if someone were verbally describing something to me, I A, enjoy listening to them, B, try visualizing what they're saying,
this is the QR code. You will find all of the presentations on there. Dr. Gates has not shared hers with me yet, so hers are not on there, but they will be. They will be. So, but you will see, we have sessions on Monday and Tuesday, and because we have those sessions on Monday and Tuesday, those are also on there. So on Monday and Tuesday, we had Jim McKenzie. He gave some excellent trainings on biblical worldview, and those notes are all in there. That's an excellent session. Are there any of you here that have heard of AI? Yes. There's a great session online in here on that. If you are interested at all in digital technology, go ahead and go into this. There's a great session on there on digital technology of the digital renaissance. Great session on that, and you'll find all the notes. It goes through using ChatGPT as opposed to using Gemini, or what is probably one of the newest is called Claude, and it's using AI, and how you as a teacher can use AI to save yourself time, but using it in the right way, so that it's not cheating or it's not a way that's making your teaching less. It will make your teaching better. That's a great session as well. So there's some really, really good sessions in there, and I really hope that you'll be able to check those out. So if you don't mind, I'm going to. If you don't mind, I'm going to have my husband take a picture with us. Is that okay? Oh, is the QR code not working? Is it too bright?
I'm not sure if I did it right.
Don't know if you did what.
Yani sasa hiyo inaenda hapo kuna download each topic huwezi download hiyo. Sasa si ndio tukikuja hapa ndio na tukirudi huko ni same. Sasa you want to go for lunch?
Hapa sioni
sio link litakuingiza sasa kwa hiyo.
hiyo link iko hapa.
Link iko kwa keyboard. Iko hapa
Utaiona
kwa keyboard yako. Enda kwa keyboard. Enda
You didn't fund?
At the beginning, I asked you to look through here.
Sasa nataka ni sikume nini? I want to see nini aje. Kwa sababu asubuhi kuna moja pia sasa hiyo moja hata haiwezi enda kwa files. Nikajua nikienda
Sikienda kwa si ndio ninakwambia ili tuweze weka kwa file. Hii ni kubwa sana iko
na si ndio hizi, unaona ndio hizi hapa
ziko ukifungulia hapo kwa nyuma, lakini tuwezi iweka kwa simu yako story. Sasa ukitaka hizi usipoteze nini, ndio tukuita ndio unakuja tukuipa.
Sasa nipige tu photo. Nimeelewa sasa. Ndio anytime
ukitaka kwenda kusikia.
Does anyone have any questions about anything? Yes.
Haya, sasa ukitaka kwenda
unarudi unaiweka hapo.
Ndio hii sasa.
Unaenda kwa email sasa.
Nikiwa hapa.
Enda kwa email sasa tuiskani.
Nitoke kwa
ni simu yako na
What are they saying in this?
aje mcopy paste kuja hapa kwa Chrome ama nini. Ulitumikia Chrome ama nini?
Sasa hapa sasa ukipiga
Because you can't go get the glasses to try, you know.
Umeona vile
hiyo kwa nini? Sasa tuone.
Sijui tunaikuja hapa tunakuja kwa website tunatumikia hiyo sasa tunakuja hapa. Sasa simu ni imejaa. Sasa ukitaka pointi yako utaka uangalie, unaenda unascan, unachukua hizo unaidownload inaenda hapo.
Mimi naona gasha ile ya kuscan kidogo ndio itakupa ikiwa moja. Hii imebeba zote.
Imebeba kile kitu.
Imebeba zote. Hata simu yangu imekataa space.
Si anisaidie tu hizo masikio.
Si wingi anapenda. Hebu
Nataka nipatie anaitwa Dr. Wi-Fi yapi na sasa utajua ni Wi-Fi password iko wapi? Ama ina inataka password. Sio hii. Inaitisha. Can I get another copy of this?
What do you learn from it? It's just a gift, just for fun, to hand out. Maybe to your children, maybe to your... You want to put it on your book? You need, what's that? Oh, you need a gift.
Can I get like this?
Well,
can I get like this?
It looks like she's giving them out to people who are asking questions. Do you have any questions?
Yes, we have questions.
Okay, let's see if she has anything left.
Hello. Hello. You have a question? Yes, you have a question? Yes. I have seen Of course you do. Yes, yes.
I'm doing my best. That's right. I help her here. That's right.
I believe you have done.
Yes. We're watching the countdown clock up there for 2 minutes.
They get the one copy of the stickers.
Thank you.
I want to say hi to her.
Okay.
Adam, you have done good. I was telling him he's being a very good helper in
He
class.
is a good helper, isn't he? He is.
Thank you.
He is.
Thank you so much.
He's a good helper.
I have a question.
What would you like? A little help?
Excuse me, doctor. I have a question.
What?
That's a question.
Yes, what's your question?
You have said this auditory learning, people can learn through auditory, visual, and cognitive. But I can see vision, you have just said there, it's about hearing, seeing, and just, you can't hear in audio there. But, and then audio, you will hear.